Hello everyone, welcome back. About 2 weeks ago I placed an order for the Primary Arms M8 scope reticle. Okay, so it's basically a variable scope in the first focal plane. It's going to look very similar to these scopes over here, right? So this is a second focal plane one that I have, 1 to 8. I've had this for about 3 years. This one I've had for about 2 weeks now. This is the SLX. Obviously a fan of Primary Arms. I like their scopes. I like the way they work for me. I ordered a third one. I ordered the Griffin reticle. That's still, I think that's in the process of being shipped to me. All right, that's like a $450 scope. And then I ordered the M8 Raptor. Okay, that's a $1,400 scope. All right, so really excited about that. And the thing that excites me is the really cool reticle that they have. Let me show you this reticle. The reticle is going to look like this. All right, so it's a mill reticle that basically from here to here, right? I'm going to bring it down from here to here, and from there all the way across. It appears to be 50 mils going horizontal, 50 mils going across. Now there is a break in the center because of the horseshoe and the bullet drop compensator over here, and the wind holes over here, right? So there's this break over here. So I had a question. My question is, despite the fact that there's this break over here, right? Do the measurements, let's say if you're going from the bottom towards the top, right? Despite the fact that there's a break over here, do these measurements continue, like as if though this was not here? Or if you're going from measuring from this side to this side, do the measurements continue going across as if this image was not here in the center? Okay, now the reason why I asked that question, because I would almost assume that it would, right? Because I think that the purpose of having something like this is so that you can measure 50 mils from bottom to top, or from one side all the way to the other side. So I would think that it would. But what I did is, hey, I looked on my phone, I kind of blew it up in my cell phone, the image, and I did a really crude measurement on an index card, and it didn't quite seem to match up. And I'm like, you know what, this just has to be the way that, this thing is blowing up on my phone. I'm not going to go too crazy with this. Let me just send out a quick email to Primary Arms, to their customer service, and verify, right? Verify that this is in fact 50 mils from the bottom all the way to the top, or from one side all the way to the front, and that that each of these lines over here measures 1 mil, right? Going across, and 1 mil, top to bottom, right? So that was my first question. I sent that out, and then I sent the second email, right? Like, because almost immediately I had the second question, which was, which of these wind holes over here, right? Which of these wind holes over here correspond to 1 mil? Because here's the thing, like let's say, because here's the thing, if I'm working with a spotter, right, and my bullet, let's say I'm holding over on this dot over here, and my spotter's looking at the scope. And he tells me to shift, let's say 2 mils to the left or 2 mils to the right. Okay, well, because he's not going to have my wind dots, so he's going to give me the measurements in mils. So it would be nice if I knew which one of these lines over here corresponds closest to 1 mil, so I can use that as a reference point. So for example, if I knew that this line over here, the 800 line, if these were 1 mil apart, right? And and basically he tells me from the center line, look 3 mils to the like maybe I'm up here, but if he tells me from the center 3 mils to the left, right? Well, if this is 1, 2, 3, I can kind of follow that up, and we can communicate that way. Okay, so if I know which one of those lines equals a mil, I can communicate with my spotter, because my spotter is not going to have these wind holes in his scope. He's going to have mils going, up and down. So here's where this thing gets crazy, right? Because I think those are two like really basic, simple questions. I need to know the measurements, right? This is a measuring tool, right? That's the purpose of this scope. It is a measuring tool no different than really this tape measure, right? The different units of measure, but it is a measuring tool. So I sent an email to Primary Arms, and I got a really weird answer, okay? So first, let's take a look at this. What I asked the guy, if this was a general question to the customer service, please see the attached picture and confirm that the distance between the two lines that I drew in blue is 20 mils. Okay, so what I did is basically I sent them a picture of this, and I think I marked it like, let's say, from here to here, and I wanted to know about the distance between these two lines. Was it 20 mils, or maybe I did it from here to here, I don't remember. But from two of these points, I wanted to know that the distance was in fact 20 mils. I don't think that's too big of a deal, right? When I printed out and measured it, it seems to not come out exactly to 20 mils. But I don't know if that's a printing distortion, which I seriously think it was. I think it was a printing distortion, right? Please forward this email to somebody in the company that's very familiar with the reticle, because this information will be included in the video that I do. Okay? I'm even telling him I plan to do a video with this thing, okay? And then I sent them a second email. Please also let me know if there are any indications for movers on the horizontal stadia line, or if the wind holes will correspond for any mover. So that was, at this point, I'm also asking, because one of the things I noticed, let me get this. I also noticed that there's this little barbell over here. See this little barbell over here? And a little barbell there. I'm wondering if any of these, if that's an indication for a mover, or if that's just like a full mill, or if any of these would correspond to a mover. Because what they could say is, hey, that's your, the edge over here is a walker. Number 5 is a jogger. Number 1 is a runner. Okay, so they could easily come up with something, right, to tell me. I didn't think that this would be a big deal. Later on, I asked about the windages correlating to a full mill, but we'll get to that. Okay, so those are my questions, right? Really basic questions. So this is the answer I get. I apologize for any inconvenience, but Primary Arms is not able to release any information regarding the subtensions and measurements of our acss reticles. Our optic engineers have deemed this to be proprietary, whatever. I know what it says, I just can't pronounce it right now. Information, since all the acss reticles are patented. Okay, so you have a patent, which means that it's protected. Okay, even if I blow it up, you got the patent. The purpose of the patent is because you're going to be releasing this thing to the whole world, and everybody's going to see it, so nobody can copy. So you have the protection of the patent. Okay, please let me know if I can assist you with anything else. Okay. And then I'm like looking at this, and I'm like, okay, this sounds really weird. This guy might be a. By the way, the person that answered this, his name is Brandon Drath. Here, hold on, let me give you guys. There we go, Brandon Drath, and right there you can read it for yourselves what he wrote to me. All right, there's the thing I sent. All right, so at this point I'm thinking, okay, this guy must be a newbie. Maybe he's like a weekend temp or something. Not a big deal. I shoot out another email. I think I might have even tried to find a different email address that was related to Primary Arms. So here you go. This is the second one where I send out right there, and I get the same exact answer back. Oh, let me switch to that page. I get the same exact answer back. Okay, so then I send this letter, right? Because now I'm getting, both emails came back from the same guy. So apparently this is the guy that's answering all the customer service related emails. So this is what I now asked. Okay, how is it possible to do range estimation if I don't know the size of the subtensions? Okay, what you're saying does not make any sense for a reticle designed for range estimation. Please forward my email to Dimitri so he can give out the proper information to people that view my channel. Okay, this video is going to sound ridiculous if I tell people that you would not give me the size of the subtensions so that they can do the range estimation with the reticle that it was designed to do range estimation. Okay, I'm being really nice. I mean, I want to be able to use this thing the way it was designed to be used. Okay, response. Okay, yeah, hold on. Okay, so that's where I wrote right up there, right? Everything I just read to you guys from Brand, and then going back to Brandon draft. I apologize for the inconvenience, but the information is not available to customers. The reticle has a built-in ranging feature, though the horizontal lines on the BDC tree can be used to measure the silhouette target with an 18-inch width up to 600 yards. Please let me know if you have any further questions. Have a great weekend. Okay, respectfully, Brandon. Okay. Okay, yeah, great. I know it's got a bullet drop, but what if I'm using something different? Okay, I mean, you know, I mean, I don't know. This thing goes on. Hold on. Okay, that's the same thing at the. That's just a copy of the same thing. This is somewhere. Oh, this is a second, because I'm sending out the multiple emails to, I think, 2 different addresses. Also, please give me any indications for movers on the horizontal stadia line, or if the wind holes will correspond to movers. Okay, that we did already. So there's multiple emails going out with the same information. So that's why the same information is in the same place. And this guy's sending back like almost the same answers. Let's go to a different one now. Oh, here's another. Now I'm getting another response. He's telling me the same thing in a different way. I apologize, but this information is not available to our customers. Our optic engineers do not want us to release any information about the measurements and size of our reticles. I'm truly sorry for this inconvenience. This guy's copy and pasting the same thing back to me. And back here, down here again, on another email. He's telling me the same thing. I apologize for any inconvenience, but blah, 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 same thing. Okay. Please know if I can assist you with anything else. Yes, give me the information I need so I can take the measurements that I need to take and do the. Oh, okay. So this is where I ask him, can you give me the mil value of the wind holes for each of the lines in the reticle? I spelled that wrong. In the reticle that I have attached. And I get the same answer again. Okay, the same deal over here. I apologize for the inconvenience, but Primary Arms is not able to release any information regarding the subtensions and measurements of our acss reticles. It's the same shit. And this, you can see the question up here. Can you give me the mil value? So this guy's like throwing the same thing back to me. At this point, I'm starting to feel like I'm dealing with like my 7-year-old son, you know, who I'm asking him a basic question, and he's like, "Nya, nya, nya, I'm not telling you," okay? Because that's what this is feeling like. Like, "Nya, nya, nya, I'm not telling you." So, you know, here's the thing. I printed out, now this is an actual printout that I did. I made 2 copies of this, right? 2 copies of this. And what I did is I folded this right down the middle over here, right? So these are the same exact picture, and by folding it right down the middle here of the stadia line, I can kind of match this up. Okay, you see how I'm matching it up? And on this paper, I can see that they match up. All right, so you can see when I take the 2 pieces of paper like that, all right, and I match it up, I can see that they match up. I don't know what the big secret is that this guy wouldn't tell me, that this thing matches up all the way to the top. Okay, or if you're going across, right, because then you can flip this over sideways like this. Right, you can also hold it like that, because I know that I think that these are mils, right? So you can match it up going across this way. So let's see, I got a barbell. I think that barbell represents 1 mil. So if I match up this barbell, get this little line up there, that barbell to that barbell, yeah, it seems like they match up going across from this barbell going to that barbell. It seems to match up. So I think the answer is yes. I expected it to be yes. I was just asking for a confirmation so I wouldn't have to print this shit out and do the origami with the paper sheet here, folding it up so I can try and measure it myself. Now, the other thing I would like to know is if the wind holes here, match up to actual to the mills, and there's enough lines over here that if I match this up like this, right, and go up and down the line, at some point they're going to match up, and that seems to be on the 800 line. On the 800 line, when I match this up like this, right, it seems to be like the 800 line. Those wind holes match up to single mills, which is really important, because if I'm working with a spotter, okay, and the spotter doesn't have a picture of my wind holes in his scope, right? My spotter tells me, whatever, from let's say we're on at 400 up here, right? And he's telling me, well, you're 2 mils over to the right. Okay, well, this is, how do I know what 2 mils over to the right is from that center? Well, now, if I know that the 800 line here, if these are all, I can go 1, 2, follow that up, and then I can see that it kind of lines up with the number 4 over here, right? So now I can work with my spotter if I know that the 800 line, if each of those measurements add up to a single mil. All right, now I can, I can navigate inside this area, because the problem, this is a great reticle, right? Which is why I'm paying $1,400 for the scope. This is a great reticle. It's got lots of good information, but there's always going to be a cost benefit, right? If you've got all this information over here, well, you're gonna lose out on some information, right? Now, there's some scopes that actually give you mills going across over here so that you can do the type of thing that I'm doing, but I don't think it's a big deal. If you know that the 800 line, if each of those dots represents a 1 mil, then you can work with that. So the only other thing I would like to know is what my movers are over here. Like, so I think that maybe the edge of the horseshoe is a walker, and maybe the 5, let's say the 5 might be a jogger, and maybe the 1 over here, what would be the 1000 line, I think maybe that's a runner, or maybe it's not. I think that I didn't even ask this question because I know I'm not going to get an answer from this dude. Okay, I'm hoping somebody else over there at Primary Arms sees this video and gives me these basic answers so I can fully utilize this wonderful reticle that they have created. Okay, so again, I'm not here like trashing Primary Arms. I like Primary Arms. I like the stuff that they do. Give me the information so I can fully utilize this reticle the way to its max potential. Okay, instead of telling me, I apologize for your inconvenience, but Primary Arms is not able to release this information regarding the subtensions and measurements of our acss reticles. Our optics engineers have deemed that this is proprietary. I said it right that time. Proprietary information, since all acss reticles are patented. Well, if it's patented, you have the protection of the patent. If somebody's going to steal this, okay, first of all, they can just print this out, okay, and take measurements off it, right? Or if somebody's actually planning to steal this information, they're going to simply order one of these scopes, have it delivered to their house, and take the thing apart and basically take the measurements right off of the etched glass. If they're in the business of building scopes, they're going to be able to get that information, from an optic that they buy. Okay, and this is, I worked in the LED business, LED lighting, as a chief financial officer. This is going back like 10 years ago, right? This is before you could find LED lights at Walmart and at Lowe's. This is when LED lights were purely like for commercial businesses, like for museums, where you had like these 30, 40, 50 foot high ceilings, and they wanted LED lights in there because they didn't want to have to go up a 50-foot ceiling, very often to change those bulbs. So back if you're going back 12, 15 years, when LED lighting was in that entry stage, there was lots of issues of companies stealing each other's bulbs, right? Each other's designs. And what we would simply do is we would order bulbs from all these different companies, have it shipped to our company or to one of the employees' houses. We would then bring them into the shop, and then the engineers there would take them apart and see if there was any, you know, copyright or patent infringements on it. So, you know, if somebody's going to steal this information, they got better ways of doing it than just sending you an email asking for the information. Okay, you're not going to keep this a secret. That's the whole point of having a patent, because you're putting it out there. Once you sell it, it's out there in the world. Anybody can, you know, that really wants to get this information can get this information out of the scope itself. So please give me this information so I can do my work. Thank you very much. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope Primary Arms gives us the information that we need so that we can fully utilize this wonderful scope and this wonderful reticle that they have created for us, because I think that this is you know, really good. I mean, I think this is really good, but they need to get away from this secret, you know, this secret spy business where they don't want anybody to know their information. It's going to get out there. I mean, I was kind of able to figure out the information I needed just by, you know, doing some crude measurements like this, but it would be nice if they would give me a confirmation, right? So anyway, thank you for watching, everyone. Make sure you guys are following me on all my channels. I got 3 channels on YouTube. They back each other up. I got Pocono Shooting, I got Absolute Gun Rights, and I got the original Safa channel, which goes back to 2006. And then on the uncensored platforms, on Odyssey, I'm Pocono Tactical. On BitChute, I'm also Pocono Tactical. And on Rumble, I'm Pocono Guns. Talk to you all soon.